All right, so
yes.
welcome to you. I'm Maria Oliva with the Cape Cod Canal Region Chamber of Commerce, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention first that we're starting our Eastern Bank Concerts by the Canal this Thursday. We have concerts in Buzzards Bay Park. They're free to the people. Every Thursday night from 6:30 to 8:30. We've got local bands. We've got about 300 or 400 people that show up to the concerts every year. We've got our business community that helps us support the band, the cost of the bands, and the local arts council helps us out. So we're excited about that. So we're going to have concerts in the park.
I love it. I'll be there, and you should be excited. That's so beautiful there.
Yeah.
And I was just
awesome.
actually there for the Born on the 4th of July
All
parade.
right. Okay, so Representative Steven Xiarhos.
Yes.
All right, so good to see you again.
You as
and
well.
welcome to the show, and we
Thank you.
appreciate you coming in. And why don't we talk about the Born on the 4th of July parade? That was a great time. I saw you there. And
I loved
Yeah.
it. I loved it. It was a busy morning because I was in Sandwich for the road race at 8 o'clock,
I know.
which is part of my district. Did the road race, did the pancake breakfast afterwards. Didn't get to eat, but at least I said hello to everyone. And then I got over here just in time to march in the front with the Board of Select persons.
Yeah.
And I loved it, like the energy from the start, right by your office,
Yeah.
to the end at the town hall. The streets were lined with people with flags, and I loved it. And it was your birthday,
Yeah,
so that's
July
even more
4th.
special. So Born should be proud, and I love that
Yeah.
slogan, Born on
the 4th of July. It's awesome. It's
Awesome.
awesome. And actually, they had T-shirts that we sold and the library sold and everything. And we sold so many T-shirts, and all the money goes to the parade volunteers
Beautiful.
to help fund the cost of the parade.
Good
So,
point, because
yeah.
it is all volunteers.
They do it. All volunteers do this every year,
Yeah.
and people do appreciate what they do every year. Of course, the last couple of years with the pandemic, people really were up for this.
They were.
Yeah.
You could feel it, and I
Yeah.
was so proud to be there as a American,
Yes.
and also as the state rep.
Right,
So it
of
was perfect for
course.
me. I
All
loved
right.
it.
It's awesome. So you came here on your motorcycle today.
I
saw you
did.
driving up. You looked pretty cool. I have not been on a motorcycle, but you told me if we see each other again that you'd take me for a ride. So I'm going to take you up on that, but I need a helmet.
That's a deal, of course. Yes.
Okay.
See, I don't have hair to worry about, so
I
that
do.
I know. But yeah, I rode in.
Yeah.
It's therapeutic to ride motorcycles.
Yeah, I remember you told me the last time that you started late in life to ride a motorcycle.
I did.
Yeah.
Based on, the loss of my son and Nicholas in war in Afghanistan. We started Big Nick's Ride for the Fallen.
Yeah.
I learned how to ride,
Yeah.
and I was nervous at first, but took all the classes, and as you ride more, it becomes like a beautiful thing. So to come from West Barnstable to Bourne on my Harley today,
That's awesome.
was wonderful. And
Great.
I did that because we have a couple of big events coming up that involve
Okay, so
the
let me
motorcycles.
just get to. I just
Yes.
wanted to talk a little bit about so people understand the district
Yes.
that you represent, so you can name the towns.
Yes.
And you've got 42,000 people, which
Yes.
is your constituents.
Yes.
Which is huge. You have to represent a lot of people, do a
Yes.
lot of things. So tell us a little bit about your district.
Yes, I am the proud state representative. Really proud and grateful. I love it.
Good.
It's called the 5th Barnstable District,
yeah.
which includes 42,000 people from all walks of life. And you have to remember, you represent each one.
Yeah.
And the towns of Bourne, Barnstable, Sandwich, and a little bit of Plymouth, actually.
Yeah, I know.
And
It's big.
it's amazing, and I love it. I try to be everywhere, every day, as much as I can.
I see everything. One thing that you're really good at is social media, and it's really important, especially to be on Facebook, to see how you handle yourself and promote yourself. And really help with the constituents in the community. So you do a great job because
thank you.
we see what you do all the time, and so does people who follow Facebook. I know some people don't, but Facebook is for wonderful things that you can do to show what the community does.
That's right,
You know?
and that's the purpose. You know, I'm winging it kind of,
Yes,
but I
yes.
try to show the good.
Yes,
you know, it's
absolutely.
not really about me. It's look at all these great things
Right.
that happen in Bourne or Barnstable or Sandwich every day, and in the State House. And I like
Right.
to, you know, show videos or pictures of you know, our beautiful People's House in Boston, where I work.
Right.
It's like a living museum. Every piece of Massachusetts history and our freedom, remember, was born in Massachusetts. It's all in Boston. So I take a little video, and some people will say, "Oh my God, I never even knew that or saw that." But really, the idea is to show the good and to show that we are a great country. And I call us the Fightin' Fifth District.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
I
the
didn't
Fightin'
like
Fifth.
that.
We fight for our people and
Yeah.
our Commonwealth. And
Yeah,
you know, I love
that's
my
great.
country, and I try to show it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So I know you're excited. You want to talk to me about two big events. So let's
Yes.
talk about that and help let everybody
Awesome.
know what it means to you to be involved in these events.
Yeah. So every July, these two special motorcycles happen. One is Big Nick's Ride for the Fallen, which is
Yeah.
in memory of Nicholas, my son, who born and raised in Yarmouth and
Yeah.
went off to earn the title of Marine and served in Iraq and Afghanistan and gave his life on July 23rd, 2009. He rests in peace in the Bourne National Cemetery at age 21. And,
Yeah.
and that's how I wear his pin.
Of course.
And
yes.
so we started a motorcycle ride, and it's every July, right around the 23rd. This year is July 17th. It starts at the National Cemetery
Right.
and the Sheriff's Department right across the street. And, you know, 1,000 motorcycles come from all over New England.
Really?
And,
New
oh, yeah,
England?
New England.
Oh,
And we
okay.
even had one rider come from New Zealand. He heard about the ride,
Wow.
and he said, "I want to see how Americans honor their fallen, and I want to ride a Harley in America." And this man came all that way, and he rented a Harley, and we rode together. And at the end of that night, we prayed together at Nick's grave at the cemetery, and this man did a New Zealand like war dance at Nick's grave. So,
Very
yeah, it's really
emotional and
special.
passionate.
It is, and that's that
It's just-
motorcycle
yeah.
world. It's a way to honor everyone, and we encourage people to come out and wave their flags.
Right.
It goes all the way through Bourne along the canal,
And you go all the way to
we end in Yarmouth,
In Yarmouth,
where Nick
right.
graduated
Right.
at DY High School. So it starts out very serious at 9 a.m. at the Sheriff's Department with ceremonies and speeches.
Oh,
And then we ride through the streets of Bourne, Sandwich, Barnstable, and Yarmouth. And at the end, we celebrate. And it's about all 16 of our fallen. We lost 16 in America's longest war. Though that's
Yeah.
Gold Star families like
yeah,
mine.
Gold Star.
But there's also Blackbeard's Ride. That's the second event.
Okay.
So that's on July 10th. And that's in honor of Matt Pacino.
Oh, sure, from
And
Sagamore
yes,
Beach.
that's right.
Yes.
Matt is a Bourne resident,
Right.
like Nicholas. He's an Army soldier. He was my friend. He
Yes.
was a Yarmouth police officer with me, and he became an Army Ranger and Green Beret and a Special American. And we lost him in Afghanistan also in 2009. So his family, the Pacino family,
Yes.
has Blackbeard's Ride.
Wow,
So we
that's
call it
good.
Hero Rides back to back. July 10th
Wow.
in Bourne for Matt Pacino, Blackbeard's Ride. And a week later, you know, Big Nick's Ride for the Fallen. Back to back Hero Rides. Two young, brave Americans that, you know, gave their lives for us. So that's why, like Independence Day, Veterans Day,
course,
Memorial Day,
yes,
they're really
yes.
extra special for
They're
us.
critical milestones.
They
and
are.
You want to support this whole issue of going to war and what it means. I mean, when we do that, there is a sacrifice, a
Yeah.
huge sacrifice that's made.
There is.
So,
So we can
yeah.
have freedom.
Yes,
and
of
have
course, yes.
right, have our fun on at parades and
Yes.
and be free to speak in a way whatever you want.
Right.
And so it's part
It's
of being an American, and I'm
Right.
proud of that. And
Right.
so Big Nick's ride, Blackbeard's ride.
All right, so Big Nick, so how did you actually, where did this idea come from?
Not
Was
from
it-
me,
It
yeah.
didn't, so other
Not
people?
from, yeah. I was never
That's
a
great.
rider.
Okay, yeah.
But the idea or the thought was when, I think we talked about it before, when we were in the funeral that, horrible day. My family was in the funeral car, and we were going from Yarmouth to Bourne to bury my son. And I could hear the sound of motorcycles.
Wow.
And I don't remember seeing them. It's kind of like flashbacks. It was 13 years ago. But I heard that sound. We were being escorted by motorcycles. And I looked at Lisa and I said, "Do you hear that?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "We're not alone."
Oh,
And
that's so critical.
that sound
Yeah.
led to someone named Ben Perry saying, "You know what, Steve, I'm a biker, I'm a Marine, I love Nick. Would you let us do a ride in his honor?" And I said yes.
That story.
And they did it, and here we are 13 years later.
Wow.
Every penny that we raise, we give away to scholarships,
Yeah.
and just try to use that sacrifice to help others.
Now, how do you raise money? I remember, weren't you selling?
Well, it costs
some-
$20 to ride, so
Right.
every rider pays $20.
Yeah.
They get to ride in this police escorted ride.
Okay, so that's
and they have
wonderful.
food at the
Yeah.
end, and you can
good.
buy shirts, you can buy wristbands, and
What about the puppy? Wasn't there a
oh, that was
stuffed
for
puppy?
Sean Gannon.
Oh, that was for Sean
Yes,
Gannon.
when-
Okay, yes.
So that
okay.
was a lesson in life
So there's
too.
different projects going on.
In
all
my
over.
world, there's
Yeah.
a million,
Wow.
yeah. Because I was a police officer, and my officer Sean Gannon was murdered,
Yeah.
and our dog Canine Nero was shot,
Yeah.
and that's part of my story too. That's why
Yes.
I left policing and ran for office
Office,
and earned the support of the people,
Wow.
and filed the Nero bill, right? A law-
Yes. Talk
and-
about that.
Yeah, I was there when Nero was shot by a evil person. He had killed Sean, and Nero was trapped in the house, bleeding to death. And we got him out 3 hours later, arrested the suspect, and got.
3 hours.
It took us 3 hours to get him to give up. He was in the house with his guns. He had shot and killed Sean Gannon, and he wouldn't come out of the house. And we didn't know if there were other shooters with him, but we knew we had a murderer in there. And we knew that Nero was in there. We didn't know if he was alive or not, but we knew he was shot. So it took us 3 hours to negotiate. He came out. He surrendered after destroying the drugs that he had and the guns that he had. He hid them all, and we found them later. But I'll never forget, one of our officers carrying Nero out of the house, choking because he had been shot in the head. He was bleeding to death, and nobody would help him, because Massachusetts law doesn't allow EMTs and paramedics to help an animal legally or put it in an ambulance.
Yeah.
So our police officers took Nero, put him in a cruiser, and drove as fast as they could to the veterinary hospital in Dennis. And a doctor jumped in the back seat and helped save Nero's life. And then the next day, part of that story, we brought him here to Bourne. And he was saved by the surgeons at the Bourne Veterinary Hospital
Yes.
under the bridge. Like, that's
Yeah.
the story. And
Yeah.
Nero's
That's
alive. And we
and
filed that bill,
the f-
and now we
yeah.
made it law. It is
Right.
law in
Yeah,
Massachusetts.
good for you to do that. That's
We-
such a, these stories that we're talking about is so emotional, and you're so passionate about it. And although it's sad, you look for the good in everything.
I do,
And what
yeah.
can we do to make this, to remember everything that happened, but to celebrate freedom in life.
We do, and
know,
fix things that are wrong. So,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
right?
there you go.
We should
Yes.
be able to treat a
Yeah.
police dog injured in the line
Yeah.
of duty. So we wrote a bill, and we fought to
You
make
did.
it legal, and we did. It's Nero
did.
law.
Yeah.
So now if a police dog is injured in the line of duty, humans come first.
Yes,
But if the EMTs and paramedics and the ambulance is available, we can use them to help save that life. And then last week I spent a week in Rhode Island because it's illegal there, and testified in their
Oh,
state
wow,
house.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, and you'll be
Good for you.
seeing in August, Rhode Island passed the law.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's just incredible.
they passed the law, and we'll be celebrating on August 17th with the
They
Rhode
did.
Island governor and the Rhode
Oh,
Island.
that is
Yeah.
incredible. That's such a wonderful story.
Thank you.
I
It's
love that.
part of our mission to. I have a heart of a servant, but I have the mind of a warrior. And if there's something wrong, I'm going to try
You're
to
gonna fix it.
fix
Try to
it
fix
and
it.
protect others.
Right.
That's kind of how I was made.
Wonderful. So you handed me 15 pages of your accomplishments.
Not 15.
Oh, I know. There's only 3. There's only 3 of these. These are a little of your notes, but we want to go through and talk a little bit about some of the committees you're on, and you get the commission. You're policing in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, I'm on 5 committees. So
Yeah.
veterans
People
and
don't realize all that you do at the State House when
Yes.
you're on these committees.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about what it
Yeah.
means, not only having hearings, but the work that you have to do on each committee.
it's amazing, and
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work, right? So there's kind of 2 different worlds. One is your district. This is my district, the Fightin' Fifth. So I'm here every day trying to help somebody. That's what we do. We
Yeah.
help so many people every day, constituent services. That's number 1.
Yeah.
So reach out if the state can help you. For instance, we're working now
Yes.
with Upper Cape Tech to
Yes.
try to get the state to put a traffic light,
Oh, that's just,
right?
yes.
So the kids can
Yes,
get
I-
out safely.
tough
It's a state road, but there's a lot to that. So that's one of my constituent issues.
Okay, good.
But in the State House, that's where all laws are made. So you have hearings every day. There's 7,000 bills filed. Everyone has a hearing. So I am on the Veterans and Federal Affairs Committee. I'm on the State Regulations Committee.
Yeah.
I am on the Public Safety Committee. And I'm
Jeez.
on the Elder Services Committee. So I
Services, yeah.
hear the bills that are in that world.
Wow.
And then I'm on the Police Reform Commission and also 4 caucuses.
Is that all?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I love it, but it's hectic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I commit my life to that. And,
Yes.
one of the
Yes, you are.
caucuses is on animals, for instance. I love animals and try to protect them. And we just passed a bill last week, which was a lesson I didn't know. So, when you have, let's say, rodents at your home, you have someone come and put those black boxes, right, to get rid of the rodents. But what I learned is there's poison in there, obviously. It kills the rodents. But if our wildlife eats the rodents, now they
Right.
suffer a horrible death because of that poison makes them bleed to death. So we filed a bill, and it just passed, where if you're going to do that, you should be aware of what that does. So now in Massachusetts, once the governor signs it, you'll still have that ability to do that, but you'll be informed of what that does and make choices on that, so we can help wildlife. We don't want hawks
Right.
and birds
Right, right,
dying
right.
from eating these animals, and that's something I
Interesting.
learned about. Yeah, very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Those are some of the things that we deal
Right.
with. Yeah.
Yeah. Who would think, right? I mean, you also look at global issues too, and I know that I hear all the time from businesses that because of the labor shortages and lack of affordable housing, it's a little bit frustrating for me because I want to help them.
Yes.
And I want to say, I wish I could bring down the gas prices. They're going down a little bit.
Yes, yes.
But I think overall, the economy is stable, and the business community is doing very well. And we cover Bourne, Sandwich, and Wareham, the 3 towns that the chamber represents. But I really, can you talk a little bit about how you see us moving forward during this time? I mean, I think there's a lot of positive things going on. There's a lot of challenges going on. Is there any legislation going on that can maybe help small businesses?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
great question. That's part of our world too. And,
Yes.
And thank God the businesses are doing well.
Yeah.
But it's a huge struggle
It
for
is.
help.
Oh my
You know,
goodness.
everywhere I go,
Yeah.
every business needs help. Whether it's police, fire, teachers, doctors, nurses, landscapers, restaurants, everybody's asking
Right.
for help.
Yeah.
And part of it is the labor force, the baby boomers like my generation, we've aged out. And also the pandemic had a lot of people leave early.
It did.
So there's just not enough bodies.
There isn't.
So that's part of the issue. So sometimes we have to learn to work with it, and that's why the businesses, some of them close, you know, 1 day a week, and it's a shame, but that's part of the solution for now. There's so much money out there that we can put money into retraining people,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So they can learn different jobs.
Exactly.
We have all that, but sometimes there's just not enough people right now.
I know it. I know that a lot of businesses are paying well and have bonuses and
Yes,
incentives,
yes.
and they're still finding it struggling. But
Yes.
one of the big issues is housing on
Yes.
Cape Cod. A lot of young people in particular, they can't buy a house.
Yes.
There's no place to rent.
I don't know what I would do if I didn't already have
you
a
know,
house.
I
Yes.
mean, I love living here. We've lived here my whole life, and it's just so. It's a little bit frustrating to see that happening. I know that in Wareham and in Sagamore Beach, there's some new affordable housing
Yes.
going up. And the
Yes.
thing about affordable housing is that sometimes it has a stigma. And affordable housing is for nurses and teachers and
Yes.
everybody.
Yes.
I mean, and it's important to have rental available, and even for homes, subsidizing homes for people for affordable housing. So I think communities need to do more from a zoning perspective and a supportive perspective to help people live here that want to stay here.
Amen.
You know?
So state government, we have the funding,
Yes.
but we do say to the towns, like, you've got to have your zoning issues. 'Cause
Yes,
it's
exactly.
really on the towns and the
The
cities.
towns and it's
Yeah,
a local
it
issue.
kinda is.
Even they say affordable housing is a problem throughout the Cape, but each Cape has
Their own-
15 different towns,
Yes.
15 different types of zoning
Yes,
regulations,
yes.
and some towns support it and some towns
Yes,
don't.
and I see all
so-
those sides, but
Yeah.
in the state world, we're ready to give you the funds.
have the funds.
But we look for
Exactly.
projects that are approved.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
So getting it approved, there's a lot to it.
Right.
And I see it every day. My son is a police officer, Alex, and where is he going to live?
Right.
Luckily, we have a home.
Right,
But,
exactly.
it's hard.
Right.
But we are listening and we're willing to help. But whatever you can do on the
Yeah.
town level, that's important.
On
And
the
that's part of
local
my
level.
job as a state rep,
Yeah.
to bring money and resources to my towns.
So does the money, like for example, there's the Housing Assistance Corporation on the Cape, so the money can go through the Housing Assistance Corporation?
Yeah,
maybe,
we
and then-
fund them.
And you fund them
Yes.
through the state?
Yes,
Okay.
or federal. It's really
Oh.
cool, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
I deal with local select
Yeah.
boards. I deal with Senator Markey, Senator Warren,
Yeah.
our senators with
Yes.
federal issues. Congressman Keating lives in
Yes.
Bourne, because we need to build 2 bridges, right?
I know.
That's
Oh,
a
I
whole
know.
other
That's
thing.
another.
And
We'll
that's
do a
in
separate
my
story
world,
on
yeah.
that down the road.
Yeah, the 2 bridges
Yeah.
in Bourne. Imagine
Yeah.
having 2 major
Sure.
bridges
Yeah.
in a little town of Bourne.
I know it.
And
Yeah.
those are on a federal level, like it's huge. So I'm in Boston working on that. And
Yeah.
so my day can be from helping, someone get something to eat versus getting them a home or trying to build a new bridge. Like, it's
Right,
amazing
right,
what we do, and
right.
I love it.
It's fun, isn't it?
I find it
I know it's
fun.
a challenge, but
It's
you
exciting.
know, I
find
haven't
it
known you that
exciting.
long, but I know you well enough to know that you really, really are so passionate about these issues that you believe in, and that you're principled, and that you
Yes.
will tell people, this is the story,
Yes.
this is what I can do, this is what I can't do.
Yes,
You
and
know?
this is... And,
You can't
and
be everything to everybody.
It's hard,
You
and
know?
sometimes you take votes that some people don't
Oh, I
like,
know it,
But
but yeah.
I really try to decide with my heart, and not necessarily politically.
Yeah.
It's what's best, and I'm only one vote, right? There's 160 state reps.
Yeah.
And 40 state senators. A lot of people don't know, right?
Yeah.
So 7 million people in Massachusetts. We're not a little state. 7 million people. And governed by 200 elected officials, and I'm proud to be one of them.
Yeah.
160 state reps,
Yeah.
40 senators, and then our governor and lieutenant governor. And really, everybody works hard every day for their people, right? Pittsfield or Provincetown, everybody has a rep, everybody has a senator, and I try to get along with everybody.
Yes.
That's important. Like,
Yeah.
ignore sometimes the negativity.
Of course.
Right?
Yes,
Stick
you
to
have
what
to.
you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Reach across the aisle.
Right.
And get things done.
Sometimes the negativity can swallow you up, and you just look back and say, most people are good about that. They're not negative. It's just
Yes.
sometimes the negativity doesn't help solve the issue or
It
the problem
doesn't.
that you want to
It
do.
drives people
So you
apart.
can have a discussion.
Yes.
But it should be a civil discussion.
Yes, and name calling is wrong.
Yeah,
I'll never
we'll
do
wait for
that.
that.
And
Yeah.
that's why I do those little videos in Facebook.
I love
I try to
those.
show the good things.
Yes.
Be proud to be an American. Be proud to be from Massachusetts, where
Right.
freedom was born.
Yeah.
And I believe we are a great nation, and I love the flag. But I also understand there's all kinds of issues and concerns. But don't let it divide us.
No, definitely not. All right, let's see what else we got on here. How about you have down here a school security bill. You want to
Yes.
talk about that?
Yeah.
Is that a bill that's just been filed?
Yeah, I just
Okay.
created it myself
Oh,
with my
okay.
team,
All right, let's talk
based
about
on what
that.
happened in Texas. That horrible mass shooting, killing of these innocent children. So again, my heart of a servant, mind of a warrior, being a police officer for 40 years, I know we can do better. So on that, Massachusetts has every gun law that we can think of already.
Right. We
So a
have
lot of-
some strong gun laws. In
Everyone,
Massachusetts.
yeah. Like, so when people are frustrated, realize Massachusetts is different than other states. So there's federal things,
Right.
50 states, but Mass has done a lot of work. But having all the gun laws doesn't prevent someone from breaking the law and doing horrible things. So that's called an active shooting or active killing, because someone could use a knife or run over people. It's horrible. Look what just happened, in Illinois. So I wrote a bill that says we should have schools that are all safe. They should have the money to make sure that the doors lock, the windows lock, camera systems, so we can, keep an eye on public areas. There's technology that can allow the public parts of schools to be viewed by the police in the police station and even in the cruisers. So if something bad happens, the officers can see on their screen what's going on, which is powerful, but it takes money. And not every school in the Commonwealth has doors that lock.
Right.
Simple things. In 2022, they should be able to secure their building. Also, I believe you should have a police officer, a trained police officer, who is trained to be a school resource officer. That's even more training. There should be one in every school.
So that's what the bill is about.
The bill is about a school resource officer at every school, depending on their town, if the town wants one. And the funding to do it.
Just going to ask you about that.
Yeah, funding to do it, and to make sure the school is safe, secure. Kind of like we did with after 9/11, if you think about that. Those terrorists got on the planes, they did horrible things. After that, we made laws that you can't, get in a plane, right? But you have to have security. That's why there's people checking you when you go to an airport to make sure that you're following the law. And that's why you can't get in the cockpit. So they've hardened, let's say, the airports and the planes. And we kind of get used to it, and we feel safer. I think we can do something like that at all the schools. So make sure we've done everything we can to keep these innocent children safe, and the teachers.
Right.
And I have the support of the superintendents.
Oh, I was just going to ask you, is there
got to
support
work with
among
the superintendents,
the school community?
Yeah, they love it. And most towns on the Cape have school resource officers.
Okay.
But I'd like to see one in every school.
In every school,
And the funding to do that. We should never lose a life because of money.
Right. Oh, yes. Yep.
Right?
Right.
The money's there. It's really about priorities. And to me, the children of this district and this Commonwealth and their educators come first.
Great. Is there other bills or legislation going on that you want to talk about?
There's so many others.
I know,
We have until July 31st.
Yeah,
Remember, I'm in
the
my
budget.
first year and a half.
Yeah.
And
You've only been there a year and a half.
A year and a half, yes.
Wow, I thought you...
And it ends
seems
in,
longer,
yeah,
doesn't
well, I love it. I love it. It's a 2-year term.
Yes.
And I'm running for re-election. Every
Right.
2 years you have to do that, and I hope to get re-elected. But yeah, you have a year and a half to get 7,000 bills heard and voted on. And it ends July 31st, so the budget, right, $49 billion budget. That's what the budget is for next year. All gets voted on, and then any of these bills that have made it through their hearings that have going to go to the floor to be voted on, there's a ton coming up.
There's so many committees, and you know more about this than I do. Like there's the Ways and Means Committee,
Yes.
and that handles so many different bills. So when you file a bill, it has to go through all these committees.
Yes.
Sometimes they just die on the vine,
Yeah,
or
they get sent to
a
study. Yes.
Oh,
which
we'll study
means-
that.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of that.
Kinda, yeah,
you
until
know?
next term.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, until the next term.
Yeah, you have to
Okay.
refile that bill.
Yeah.
And because people say, well, what happened to that bill? Well, it got filed, it had a hearing, but it didn't make it
It just
out of
died on the
committee.
vine
And
somewhere.
now we'll file it again, right?
Yeah.
I filed 25 bills, and 20 of them went to study. You know?
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
something. It's a learning experience.
Right.
But you don't give up. And most of the important-ish ones that someone decides to get to the Ways and Means,
Right.
that's where the money, they look at it, hey, this
whole
is a good
budget.
bill, but
Yeah.
how do we pay for it?
Right. Ways and Means actually does analysis on what every bill's going to cost.
Yes.
And they might say no to this or yes to other
Yes.
ones.
So
Yeah.
to get it to the floor, they call it, of the people's house, right? In Boston, where John Quincy Adams was in.
Yeah.
That's where I work. It's amazing. To get it to the floor for us to vote on is quite a thing. And it can happen fast if leadership wants it to, or it can go slow. And I'm just doing the best I can to,
Right. Well,
to
let's
speak
just
up
talk
for
about
us.
the leadership. And
Yeah.
we've got the Speaker of the House.
Yes.
And we've got the Senate President.
Yes.
And of course, they're both Democrats, so it's
Yes.
a Democratic legislature.
It is,
But
yes.
Republicans are an important voice
Yes.
in the Massachusetts legislature.
Yes.
And I know you're one of them.
I am. I'm one of 29.
I know.
So it's 160 reps.
Yeah.
And out of that, it's 131 Democrats,
Yeah.
29 Republicans. There's 40 senators, 37 Democrats,
I know
3
it.
Republicans.
I know it. It's-
And we have Republican governor and lieutenant
Yes.
governor.
Yes.
And
so
it kind of all works.
it's bipartisan for the
It
most
is.
part. Sometimes it's not. But
I wish it was more balanced.
Yes,
So,
yes.
but we're lucky on the Cape. We have 6 reps,
Yeah.
right? Remember, Bourne is represented by me, but also
Yes.
Rep. Dave Vieira, a
Right.
great man
Right.
who knows a lot more than I do. He's very helpful to me.
Yes, he's fantastic.
And we also have Senator Sue Moran. She's
Right.
the senator for this
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I work with them all the time.
Right.
We may not always agree, but we
course.
get along. And
Yeah,
we,
exactly.
we respect each other. That's democracy.
Right.
But really, it's the Speaker of the House, Ronald Mariano, from
yeah.
Quincy, and the Senate President, Spilka.
Karen
They are
Spilka.
powerful. And I was, on a cool note, right, I'm at Mass Maritime Academy. I mean, that's my academy, right?
I love Mass
Yes,
Maritime
that's a
Academy.
world-class facility.
absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And, the Admiral and all the cadets that come from all over the world to go there, right here in Bourne. So you got 2 federal bridges and the train bridge.
Right.
The canal and the
chamber.
Yeah, and the chamber. There's a lot of cool stuff. But I was at their graduation, and I had talked to the Admiral, and I said, Admiral, the Speaker of the House, he's a great guy, and he's should see this place.
Yes.
So he invited him to be a guest, and on this beautiful Saturday in Buzzards Bay, there's all these cadets graduating with their families, and the Speaker of the House, Ron Mariano, is getting a special diploma on that day.
Oh.
And he stood up at that podium,
Nice.
and he was so proud, and he hadn't been here in 30 years.
Really?
Yeah, so
Wow.
exposing leaders in government to what we have in our district, the Fighting Fifth, is part of my mission.
Wow.
So they can see it and say, oh my God. And
Excellent.
then what can we do to help?
Right. It's also educational, isn't it? When you talk about everything, and it's educational for me to hear what you have to say about the process.
I think it is. And
Yeah.
so people that are watching, be educated. It's good to know how government works. There's the federal government, there's state government, local, And I also would encourage people to run for office. You know, like you would be a fantastic elected official. You would.
Well, thank you.
Because you
I
have
like
that
what I'm
heart.
doing.
Yes.
Yes, I have a heart.
Yes, and a mind that
Yeah.
is able to get along with people. That's important.
Definitely.
So if there's anyone out there that wants to run for something, they should. Like,
Yeah.
and if not, support the candidates that you
Right.
think that you can align with. But if you don't, you don't have to be, let's say, hateful towards the others.
Of course
Just
not.
try to understand and stick up for what you
Right.
believe in, and understand it's a big, big process.
It is. It is. Do you have any other issues you want to bring up?
Yeah,
today?
there's one I
Okay.
think
Is it on your list?
it is. I learned when we were doing we do toys for tots every week, right?
Yes.
And you know, that's part of my family's foundation. We get toys, we ride motorcycles, and we bring them to the hospitals at Christmas for the children in the hospital on motorcycles. But when I was doing that, I learned about the need for diapers, and I never knew that. So we brought toys to A Baby Center, which is a foundation in Hyannis, brought them all the toys, and they said, wonderful, but you know what, we could use diapers, disposable. And I learned, oh my God, I didn't know that. There's families that don't have diapers, so they have to
Wow.
they have
Just
to
have to-
decide, do I change my baby's diaper or keep them in it so I can afford medicine or gasoline? Right? Imagine that.
Yeah.
So we do diaper drives. So if you're able to, buy a bag of diapers and drop them off to me, I'll get them to the families that need it. But also now the infant formula.
Yeah, the baby
Yeah,
formula.
that's a huge
Yeah.
issue. And we can sit on the sidelines and wait for someone to fix it or
Yeah.
be critical. It shouldn't be happening, but it is.
Right.
So what I decided to do, I call it Cans for Kids.
Okay.
So we put boxes in every police station, 15 towns on Cape. I drove to every one and dropped off a cardboard box. And the two state police, Bourne and Yarmouth.
Yeah.
So every police station on Cape Cod has a cardboard box, and if you can, when you're out shopping, if you can buy some formula, or you may have it in your home that you don't need anymore, as long as it's still good, go to your local police station, put it in the box,
Okay.
and we will make sure it gets to families that need it.
I did not know that.
Cans for Kids.
Cans for Kids. That's
It's a way to help,
program.
right? Help.
Right.
We can help as a community.
Right. So you
as-
do so many local issues that really are taking care of a national problem.
You can.
Yeah.
Amen. Or
Yeah.
you can sit on the sidelines and complain.
I know, but you don't sit on the sidelines.
Never. I
No,
try
never
to
have.
listen, learn, put things together, and make good things happen.
Well, this is wonderful. I enjoy talking to you. I appreciate you coming in. I know that you have a lot going for you for the future. And when you said a year and a half, it just seems longer than that to me.
It
that you've
does.
been-
To me too. And I imagine the first year the State House was closed because of
yeah, during the
COVID, so I didn't
pandemic,
have
right.
an
So that must
office.
have, your first year must have been
It was
very
like,
difficult.
wow.
Wow.
I had a lot to learn and no one to learn from because we weren't allowed in the building.
Right.
So because of being a police officer and having that heart of a servant, I already kind of knew what to do.
Right.
I just had to learn how it all works, and I have. And
Right.
tomorrow I'll be in the People's House, and we'll be voting on something major.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I'll be everywhere to help somebody, whether they're a Democrat or a Republican, doesn't
Right.
matter.
And
I'm there to
whatever we
help.
can do to pass a message along, like Cans for Kids or things like that,
Yes.
the chamber can get the word out.
Yeah.
So let us know, because we can get the word out to like
Ooh, that's a
1,500
great
people
idea,
in our
yes.
database.
Yeah, they may
that
not
we send.
know that-
They may not know.
yes, that they can pick up
we're
a
happy
can
to
and
do that.
put
You
it in
can
a box.
send us any
All right.
information we have. We promote that. That's what the chamber does. It helps businesses and the community. So we do twofold. We support our businesses to make sure that they can be successful and create jobs, but we also support the community to make sure that the jobs and the businesses in the community are together.
And that's
work
perfect.
together.
That's kind of the
Yeah.
same thing, right? We
Yes.
have that same connection.
Yes, we do.
And whatever I can do to help you. I love this area. I love coming here. I love the
Great.
canal. I was just part of the onset
Oh, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah,
right.
the
Tell me, and you
Onset-
won. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Explain that.
The Onset Bay Association
Yes, yes.
had a Independence Day boat parade to show off your love of our country.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a boat that I'm learning how to use. I never boated before, but we launched in Sandwich with my son Alex and his friends, and we boated through the canal, under the Sagamore Bridge, under the Bourne Bridge.
That's awesome.
Almost under the train bridge, but it came down.
Oh, the
Yeah.
train bridge. Oh,
Yeah.
you never know when it's going to come down.
Yeah, okay, I was wondering about that.
Oh, yeah.
So it came down, and we stopped, obviously,
course,
and waited
yes.
half an hour for the trains.
For the-
and it's kind of cool to
Yes,
see
that's
that,
what happened. Isn't that
right?
cool, though?
Really cool, and then
It's-
it went up, and we
yeah.
went under, went into Onset.
It's amazing.
was
Our canal
beautiful.
and the railroad bridge.
It's
And
beautiful.
the railroad station where our office and visitor center is right there. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
It's
so this
beautiful.
town
Yeah.
is special. It
Yes,
has a
it is.
lot, right?
Yeah.
So we end up in Onset, and there's like 30 boats, I would say, and there was hundreds of people on the dock,
Mm-hmm.
and we came through last. The name of our boat is Living the Dream,
Mm-hmm.
because that was my son's last words in his life. He said, "Don't worry about me, I'm living the dream."
Wow.
And we lost him in war 3 weeks
Right.
later. So the boat is called Living the Dream, and we kind of
Wow.
came up at the end. We had the music playing, Proud to be an American, and my son Alex was standing on the bow playing his guitar,
Wow.
and we got first place.
I know it. That's
Yeah.
incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you.
A lot of Onset is a village in Wareham, as you know. So, and people forget that we cover Bourne, Sandwich, and Wareham. We're a regional chamber, and we have 2 visitor centers, one at the base of the Sagamore Bridge and one in Buzzards Bay. But but Onset Harbor is one of the most beautiful harbors in the country.
It really is.
So beautiful.
And you can get there from anywhere in a
Exactly.
way, right?
Yes.
And I loved it. I'd never done it. And
Yeah.
we, went back through, under 3 bridges,
Mm-hmm.
and then ended up in Cape Cod Bay and went all the way out to P-Town.
Awesome.
It was a beautiful day with my family on the
good.
water,
Very
and
good.
helps recharge me so we
Yeah,
can go the
good.
next day to do more good things.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming in. We'll do this again sometime. We'll
Absolutely.
make this a regular program because it's just good to talk and let people know what's going on.
I agree.
And we appreciate your service. And thank you very much for coming in. I appreciate it.
Amen.
All right.
Proud to
You
be
have
here.
a great day.
Thank you.
you.